Alright YouTubers, what's going on? Come back to another knife video. I got a new Spyderco for 2016. One I've been excited for a long time, and this is one of their new mid-year releases. This is the SpydieChef by Marcin Slysz. It's a design. You can see it's a titanium frame lock with a thumb hole opening, no flipper. And it is kind of a... how do you explain the blade shape here? It's a little different. Almost a sheep's foot, kind of modified sheep's foot blade maybe? It was made and designed, hence the name SpydieChef, for food prep use. And it uses a unique steel, and we'll kind of get into that in a second. Let's go ahead and go over some, just your basic specs on this one. So, weighs in 3.7 ounces, which is great for a titanium frame lock. That is what I would consider a medium-sized knife too. So it's pretty lightweight. It'll make a good EDC. You've got your blade length, I believe, is shy of 3.5, but right around there. Let's go from that edge. Oh, it's just about 3.5, almost exactly actually. 3.5 inches. Kind of up sweep, so it's kind of harder to measure. There you go. And your closed length is going to be 4.5, not quite. A little less than 4.5 inches. So it's pretty good size. Here's a size comparison while we're doing it. Benchmade 940, almost identical in size, and the larger paramilitary 2. So kind of in between, about the same size as the 940. So like I said, I would consider it to be a medium-sized knife. Okay, so really cool design. The steel is LC200N. Can you see that? There you go. Now that's a steel that I had never heard of before this knife came out. And Spyderco, I got to give them props, is really good at doing new models and new steels, not necessarily using the same old stuff in every model. So I was kind of excited. I'm like, hey, new steel, new design, different. I mean, yeah, it's a titanium frame lock, which isn't different, but it is, you know, the blade shape's much different. The steel that they used, it's real thin. Look how thin that is. I don't know my caliper. I tell you, I can never find those calipers anymore. Here's the case, and it feels empty. Calipers are MIA, so thickness, I'll put it in the description. We'll do a quick measurement here. Less than a half inch for sure, though. Yeah, wow, like a 1/4 inch thick. It's pretty thin. That can't be right. I'll put the right, the exact, in the. That's why I like using calipers, because you get an exact measurement. But very thin, very slim profile. I like the design. I like Marcin Slysz designs. The Techno, the Slysz Bowie. So very good. Some of my favorite Spyderco knives ever made, actually. So a little bit about the steel. So LC200N is a very, very high corrosion-resistant steel, similar to H1. This is not quite as resistant as H1, but very close. So if you are in an area where your knife's gonna rust easily, great steel for that. That's why it's used for food prep, because it's gonna get water and other oils and such on it that could cause it to rust, and this will resist that quite a bit. So it's a high nitrogen steel, and it's produced by a combination of the pressurized electronic slag remelting process and smart forging technology. So this is a pretty advanced steel. I would compare it, like I said, to H1, but with a lot better edge retention. H1 doesn't have the best edge retention. This is supposed to have quite good edge retention as well. It's used widely in food, chemical, recycling, pharmaceutical industries, but its probably most famous use is in NASA's preferred material for the ball bearings used in their aerospace equipment. So that right there tells you how high a quality of a steel this is. It's usually around 60 to 61 hardness, so it's a pretty hard steel, and it's just really cool. I mean, it has different properties. It's 0.3 carbon, 15% chromium, 5.5% nitrogen, 0.95% molybdenum, 0.5 nickel, and 1% magnesium. So, or manganese, excuse me. So, very interesting steel. Totally different, not your typical stainless steel. It's not an S35VN. What would you compare it to edge retention wise? I don't think people really know. It's kind of new, but it's supposed to be better than H1, obviously, and it's supposed to take a really keen edge and have a high polishability. So if you put a nice mirror edge on this, it's going to really take that well. Let's go ahead and see how this thing... I imagine this thing is going to be an incredibly good slicer. Oh yeah, this is out of the box. Spyderco never disappoints. But look at that thing, I'm going slow push cuts through that. Very, very thin foam book paper, and it is slicing like crazy. So yeah, that's going to be a great slicer, which you'd expect with that flat grind on there. And being Spyderco, they just, you know, they excel at slicing on their knives. Their knives are great slicers, period. Excuse me. Just got home from work and I'm kind of relaxing a little bit and trying to do this video at the same time because I just got this in the mail. So, like I said, the Spydie hole. Now it's not this. This is just straight out of the box. I mean, I literally got this in the mail. It's not terribly smooth. Centering looks very good. It's easy to open. You can use your thumb with the thumb hole, obviously, very easily, and you can middle finger flick it. I tried that earlier. See, it doesn't fly out. It's the cutout is similar to the Slysz Bowie. See how it's kind of covered. The opening hole is covered by this lock bar. So, but you can get your finger in there, and then you can get it with a flick. It works. I imagine it'll definitely start to break in. I remember my Slysz Bowie doing this, and it just needed some break-in time. So, overall impressions ergonomically, it's got good ergonomics. It feels really natural in the hand. It's gonna, you know, if you had to use it for a lot of food prep and using the knife quite a bit, it's gonna be very comfortable. There's not really any hot spots or anything. There is no jimping up here, which kind of would be nice to have, but you know, not a huge deal breaker. This is a Taiwanese made knife, part of Spyderco's Taiwanese made knife. In the Taichung factory, they produce very high quality knives. The clip is the standard kind of wire clip that they use. It's also, you can swap that right or left hand carry. Apparently the hardware on this knife is supposed to be corrosion resistant as well. I don't know if it's made of the same steel, the LC200N, but I had read somewhere that it was also highly corrosion resistant. So again, a great knife if you're going to be in a wet area, maybe if you kayak or if you fish a lot. This would be a great knife to have on you if you're fishing. I mean, imagine filleting a knife or a fish with this, and you know, cleaning it would be very easy to do and really kind of a joy to use. So let's see if I was trying to look up real quick the thickness. Blade thickness is 0.11, but the thickness of the handle, and it does not list that. So pretty thin, slim profile though. I really like it. Other than that, guys, that's kind of my first impressions. I'm pretty impressed. I'm happy with it. The price is good. It's you know, like the Magnitude just came out, and I was very tempted to get that, but it only came in S30V steel, and it's like almost $300, and I was like, geez, kind of pricey for the materials. This one comes in under 200, which is great, and it has, you know, a different type of steel, and it's just, you know, I love titanium frame locks. Let's see, the handle thickness is 0.4. I said a quarter. It's obviously off. It's under a ½ inch though. It's less than, it's 0.4 inches thick on the handle. So it's a very, very thin knife. So you're not going to feel this one in your pocket. So this should make for an excellent EDC knife, guys. I can't imagine, you know, a lot of us probably use I do. You know, I use my everyday carry knives quite often to cut up food, fruit, you know, whatever. I'll cut up my lunch with it sometimes if I don't have anything else with me. And this is going to be really good for that purpose. So, but I think it'll also excel in your other EDC tasks of just, you know, cutting open packages and, you know, cutting spare, you know, loose threads. I mean, let's be realistic. How many of us actually like hard use our knives on a daily basis? I mean, some of you might in your occupations, but for me, I'm a sales guy, and I work in an office, and yeah, that's not realistic. So not going to pretend like it is or anything. You can see some pretty heavy stonewashing there on the frame. You've got a nice scallop here on the very front, right up here. More for cosmetics, I think. I don't see really any real reason to have that up there unless you're kind of doing a pinch grip, I guess. Maybe that could be it, but other than that. Now, a lot of people have been saying these have late lockup, which it is the Reeve integral lock, and it is kind of a late lockup. I'd say it's over 50%, which for me is not a deal breaker. There is no steel lock bar insert, is there? Nope. What? Is there? There is. Is that what that is? Yeah, there is a steel lock bar insert on this one. Nice. Wow, they hit it so well that you can't even tell. But when you push out, like I was just doing, which isn't the best thing to do, you can see it there. So there is a steel lock bar insert, and you can kind of see. Yeah, oh, that's a detam ball. Maybe there's not. Maybe it's just carbonized. That's really deceptive. Let's look at that real close. See, it kind of looks like that, but it may just be carbonized. But it seems like there's an additional lip there. I don't know. That's I'll have to confirm that, because it doesn't look like there is one. I mean, it didn't look like there was one at first. There's definitely no stick, which makes me think there is. But if they did probably the best job ever at hiding it. So. Anyway, not a huge deal anyway, because there's no stick, and you know, most of the Spyderco frame locks I've had haven't had stick, minus the Spyderco Nirvana. Anyway, so hard to tell. Maybe just be carbonized. To me, it kind of looks like you can kind of see. Looks like there's an additional piece of steel right there, but again, it's so well done. Either it's completely hidden, or that's just part of the titanium frame lock, and it is. Maybe carbonized, because it looks a different. It's like discolored. It looks different color. Anyway, we'll figure that out. But overall, very smooth. No lock stick. I shouldn't say very smooth. It wasn't. It's smoothing out. The more I sit here on camera and play with it, the more it's smoothed out. So, all right, guys, I'm kind of rambling a little bit, so we'll wrap this video up. Spyderco SpydieChef, very cool. Sub $200. Really highly corrosion-resistant steel, which is great. Great looking design. Modified sheep's foot. Great slicer. Can't go wrong, guys. Highly recommend it. Thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next video.